A blizzard is currently impacting the northern plains with heavy snow and strong winds. Meanwhile, Nicole continues to bring high winds and heavy rainfall to the Sunshine State. Today we'll start off with our system in the northern plains, which is bringing heavy snow and strong winds to parts of the Dakotas, northern Minnesota, and even into eastern Montana. Our surface low is currently developing across southern Minnesota with an upper level low over northeastern Wyoming. A lot of upward motion between these two systems across northern South Dakota and into much of North Dakota, where we're seeing these banding features that are producing very heavy snowfall. Next-rad radar at Bismarck shows these heavy bands of snow rotating northwestward across the central and southern part of the state, with travel along Interstate 94 nearly impossible. In fact, travel is not advised across most of central and southwestern North Dakota at this time. If we take a look at the webcam from just west of Bismarck, and it shows just how bad the conditions are there, with snow blowing right across the highway and visibility down to just maybe a couple hundred feet. Eventually, this heavier snow that's west of Bismarck now will likely pivot into the Bismarck area later on this morning and into the early afternoon, and that could produce visibility near zero at times in the Bismarck area. Additional snowfall amounts from this system could exceed a foot from the Bismarck area northeastward through eastern North Dakota and far northwestern Minnesota. The system will exit to the east tonight, and Friday will be a much nicer day across the region with dry weather expected, though it will still be chilly. Switching gears now, it's time to talk about the tropics, and we still have Tropical Storm Nicole. Nicole made landfall about 3 o'clock this morning Eastern Time near Vero Beach. It's now moved across the state and is currently centered just north of Tampa as a tropical storm. The system is moving toward the west-northwest and will move out over the northeastern Gulf of Mexico this afternoon before turning northward and making another landfall in the Florida Panhandle tonight. We do have a tornado watch that's in effect for northeast Florida and southeast Georgia, and that's for these bands that are coming in off the Atlantic that could pose a tornado threat. Storm surge of 3 to 5 feet is expected from Sebastian Inlet northward to the Georgia coast, with 2 to 4 feet expected northward to the South Carolina coast. On the west coast, a storm surge of 3 to 5 feet is possible over portions of the northeastern Gulf of Mexico. Freshwater flooding from very heavy rainfall will be possible across parts of northern and central Florida into southern Georgia and southern South Carolina, as well as northward along the track of the storm through the central Appalachians and then into the Ohio Valley, eastern Great Lakes, and northern Mid-Atlantic. Widespread rainfall amounts of 2 to 4 inches are expected across northern Florida and southern Georgia into portions of southern South Carolina, as well as along the spine of the Appalachians, where some areas could see greater than 4 inches. 2 to 4 inches of rain are also expected across parts of Ohio, Pennsylvania, and New York on the west side of Nicole as the system moves northeastward. As the system moves inland across western Florida and into Georgia and Alabama tonight, the system will begin to become extratropical, but there will still be the potential for severe weather, including tornadoes, in these bands that are on the eastern and northeastern side of the storm. In addition, heavy rain will be a big concern across parts of Georgia and Alabama and into the Carolinas and central Appalachians. As the system continues to move northward, the axis of heavy rainfall will shift to the northwestern side, with an area of heavy rain expected to develop from Tennessee northeastward through Kentucky, southern Indiana, and into Ohio and western Pennsylvania. Additional heavy rainfall will be possible near the low-level center, with severe weather also possible across Georgia and into the Carolinas through tomorrow morning. By Friday afternoon, heavy rain will be ongoing north of the center of Nicole, with severe weather possible east of the center across parts of the Carolinas and even into portions of the mid-Atlantic states, where any of these bands will have the potential to produce severe storms with gusty winds and possibly even brief tornadoes. Nicole will continue to weaken through Friday afternoon, but the heavy rain threat will continue all the way into the northeastern U.S.